Hello and welcome to a new video. It's lovely to have you here. Today I wanted to talk through some of my aims and resolutions for reading in the new year. I don't normally set goals around fun things like reading, just because I feel like that puts too much pressure on me. I get too attached to the outcome and that makes it not fun. But this year I have some aims and goals around reading, or avenues that I want to go down, and I thought I would share today. So let's dive in. One of my goals for this year is to read more children's classics, and I know that reading more classics is a really popular goal for so many people, but this aim is really born out of the twin pillars of shamefacedness and curiosity. I've realised recently that there are some gaping holes in my reading landscape where children's classics are concerned, which I would like to address. For instance, I have never read Moonfleet. I have never read The Little White Horse by Elizabeth Goode. I've never read The Silver Sword by Ian Serraillier. And I will say this one quietly, I have never read The Wind in the Willows all the way through. So I'm really looking forward this year to reading some more children's classics, to discovering why these are so beloved by so many people, and hopefully finding some new favourite stories of my own. So the next resolution I have is to read authors from whom maybe I've enjoyed one or two titles, but who have a really prolific back catalogue that I just haven't read any of. And this might be better illustrated if I explain that this goal arose from this book, which is Cynthia Harnett's 1951 novel The Woolpack. As you can see from the back, there is absolutely no blurb on this book, and when I was looking the book up to find out a little bit more about it, it's about shady dealings in the Cotswolds wool industry in the 1400s. I discovered that Cynthia Harnett has a long back catalogue of historical fiction titles for children, none of which I'd ever heard of or read, and all of which sounded absolutely fantastic. So I'm really excited to read more from this author, from Cynthia Harnett, but it made me think that there must be so many more authors who aren't kind of up to the minute, completely contemporary, who also have back catalogues I'd be really interested in reading, or lists of titles I'd be really fascinated by. And I started thinking about authors like E.L. Konigsberg and Margaret Mahy and Nina Borden, who I've read a couple of books by each, but who I know are fantastic writers and who I'd be really interested in reading much more by. So that is another one of my goals, and I also think that reading these writers will lead me to other writers of maybe the same generation, sort of mid-century, later 20th century writers who I haven't heard of before. Even just doing a little quick Google search, I found some other author names I hadn't heard of before who had titles that sounded really fantastic. So I'm looking forward to a period of a little bit more literary discovery where children's reading is concerned. So the third goal I had for reading this year was to finish some series that I had begun in 2025. And one of those series is Susan Cooper's The Dark is Rising. This is the second book in the series, which gives the sequence's title, The Dark is Rising. And I'd read the first book in the series, Over Sea Under Stone, last summer and been completely captivated by it. I know these books are beloved by millions of people and I'm really late to the party here, but if you haven't read them, they're a brilliant blend of family story, mystery novel, nature writing and mythology. The first book is set on the Cornish coast, and you're just completely transported to Cornwall with its incredible light and landscape, and the story is really heavily based on Arthurian legend and local folklore. So it was a completely captivating read, and the only reason that I didn't immediately dive into the second book is because I really wanted to save it and read it at the appropriate time of year. The Darkest Rising is it's a really wintry book. It begins on Midwinter Eve, and I wanted to save it and read it at the darkest time of the year so that I could really kind of feel the wintry atmosphere of the book. But now that I have read it, I think I'm just going to be diving into the rest of the series. There are 5 books altogether, and there's a really brilliant introduction actually in this book, In the Darkest Rising, by the nature writer Robert Macfarlane, where he says that as a 13-year-old he just inhaled all 5 books at once, just in one big gulp, and I've absolutely no doubt that that's what I'm going to be doing with the rest of this series. There are a couple of other series I wanted to read as well this year, or finish off. The Sinclair Department Store Mysteries by Catherine Woodfine. I think I've got a couple of those to read, and I'm really excited to get back to those stories. I've got the Whitby Witches by Robin Jarvis to read, and I'm so looking forward to those. And also I'd really like to reread the Children of Green Nose series by Lucy M. Boston. So lots of plans for reading series in 2026. Obviously, goals aside, I'm just hoping that reading this year will be as fun and inspiring and transporting as it ever has been, and that I will discover and read some really good books, and I wish the same for all of you too. I'm also hoping to document and share what I'm reading a little bit more consistently on this channel this year, so look out for some new videos. And please let me know if you have reading goals or resolutions, or if there are any books that you're hoping to get to in the new year. I'd love to know. That's all I have for now, so take good care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.